And Birmingham has been in the news a lot recently. They did have the big fireworks shenanigans, firing fireworks at the police, and then there were a big large group roaming around public disorder with knives and machetes, and a woman did get stabbed. It's in quite a critical condition. And it only takes one youth with a knife, one gang fire, one youth with a gun. The unexpected when you least expect it. And it did happen to the disabled Iranian man in Bristol. They falsely said he was a paedophile. Beat him, stamped on his head, poured white spirit over him, and set him on fire. 2 men were arrested for that, and the guy was innocent, wasn't a paedophile at all. Just a big monster lie, started by a few people. Again, another 2 men arrested. Man hacked to death in Hackney, London, stabbed with a machete. So only one spark can certainly set the world on fire, and in Diss, Norfolk, UK, it's only will pie to make you disappear, but no Black Panther. Sandringham, a serial killer, black wizard terrorist, this shooter, really don't think so. And that's been our silver Ford Focus during the rains in Diss recently. Haven't seen it in more recent times, but plenty of guns for hire. Always those who'll do other people's dirty work, and others will do anything for money, drugs and alcohol. So you certainly can take a big hit. Death threats for a price on my frame fixed head, and a big surprise I will not see coming. And when I was in Africa, and the reason I went to Africa, Kisumu, Kenya, Jaffa and his Shardy gang threatening to burn my mother alive in her car the next time they saw her, a real evil saw trap. I had just lost a good friend, Philip Hurt, had come round on the Wednesday, and the following weekend his car overturned in Roydon, not far from here. Ended up on the roof, and Philip was trapped in the seatbelt, and that caught fire, and they couldn't get Philip out. The Lord did give me Psalm 18 for Philip, tangled in the cords of death, yeah, I called upon the Lord. Bit of an alien face here. They do live, and they are here. Again, plenty of hosts for the hungry, bloodthirsty beasts in high places. And 17 nuns hacked to death in a children's home by 50 years with machetes, not that far from my mother's children's home. God confirmed I was to go, and to go urgently, not 1 penny from anybody. Evening.
Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. No issues. It's a bit like, she looks a bit like Kate, out and about, get some more monster lies, bogus diagnosis. All to cover up their high royal blue crime, case 39, Dr. Sleep. Jack the Ripper crime, certainly not mine. And certainly not me leaving the body of a 17-year-old sex trafficked girl on the Royal Sandringham Estate killing fields, late Prince Philip's favourite hunting area. So God confirmed I was to go, and to go urgently, not 1 single penny from anybody, no sex and donations, no Oxfam sex scandal here, I really don't think so. And if those monster lies had been true, which they certainly were not, I would have served at least 18 months of a 3-year prison sentence, according to Diss SS Police. Inspector Numbnuts Button, Mr. Fixer, Liar Liar, Pants on Fire. Lambert and Glister, Batman and Robin, the big black cornerstone that came out of Africa. 7 monster lies, 7 bogus diagnoses were built on. But a genuine emergency, a life or death situation, a race against time. Again, Jaffa and his Shardy gang threatening to burn my mother alive in her car next time they saw her. And my mum also said, Johnny, we've got headless bodies coming down the river into Lake Victoria because of Rwanda, which was the other side of Lake Victoria from Kisumu, genocide. Mass graves she could have put the population of Diss into at the time, people dancing with fiendish delight in their victims' blood. The slaughter was relentless. And if you get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, it certainly can be fatal. So a genuine emergency, race against time, a life or death situation. Not one single penny from anybody. And I did confront Jaffa and his Shardy gang at Kisumu Marketplace. And I had also read where a Yardie gang in London had burnt a woman with a hot clothes iron on her body and on her face. And Jaffa and his Shardy gang were very angry with the world because no one cared whether they lived or died. They'd been brought up on the streets, abused and so forth, but quite a formidable gang in Kisumu. And they were venting all their anger at my mother. And that's very true. People do not care if you live or die. Again, they'll set you up in Diss with the biggest monster lies, biggest bogus diagnosis. And you really can take a big hit. If I got boxed up, locked up or done in, that'd be quite acceptable to a lot of people. Certainly wouldn't be acceptable to me. Again, no Black Panther, serial killer here. Africa, Diss, Norwich and Sandringham. When God tells you to go, it's certainly it's time to go. A lot of people have had to move physical locations out of war zones. Genocide taken place again in Nigeria, in the Congo, in Sudan. And I have heard people say that what happened in Rwanda could certainly happen in Europe, also in the UK and the US. And 2008, when Kenya did erupt into violence because of the rigged elections, Kisumu was one of the worst hit places where my mother was. But fortunately, she ran into a gentleman who had travelled all the way to Kenya. God had given him a dream, a vision of the streets of Kenya running with blood, so he went to Kenya to warn people. Some heeded his warning, many didn't. And not long after that, the streets of Kenya were running with blood. So the streets of the UK, Europe, can certainly, the US, can certainly run with blood. And in Africa, they call it a tinderbox. Obviously in the West, we always say one spark can set the world on fire. One spark, one monster lie can certainly set a community on fire. And certainly will get you beaten, stabbed, shot, set on fire. Again, did happen to the disabled Iranian man in Bristol when people deliberately set you up to get you done in or boxed up, locked up, throw away the key, and it's all to cover up their high crimes, royal blue murder. Frames and fixer switches, monster lies and bogus diagnosis, and certainly not mine. So we're all in range of war, certainly can come as a thief in the night, the unexpected, when you least expect it on a day just like today. And I have read stories of Christians in Nigeria, men rolling up at 3 a.m. in the morning, dousing them in petrol, setting them on fire and hacking them to death. And a high royal blue crime, New Year's Day fine, September blue murder, certainly not mine. See Prince Harry the Spare for details. Again, that is the word that came off the Royal Sandringham estate. Killing fields, loud and clear. That sounds like a bit of a ruckus in Diss tonight.